In 2019, I did a mini deep dive into, at the time, a newer multi-level marketing company by the name of Tori Belle. Tori Belle was founded by Laura Hunter, who currently has 3 patents pending for her magnetic eyeliner. Laura reached out at the beginning of March to sit down and have a casual chat about her company and product after seeing my video from 2019. In this video, I'll be going over Tori Belle and providing some updated information along with going over what Laura and I spoke about. Even after having a very great conversation with Laura, spoiler, I'm still very firmly anti-MLM. However, what I will say is it was refreshing to have an adult conversation with a CEO of a multi-level marketing company. A huge thank you to Laura for taking time to talk to me. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. In today's video, I'm going to be bringing you some anti-MLM or anti-multi-level marketing content. So of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. Before we get into the video, I do want to give a small business shout out to my friend Megan. Some of you may know her as It's Megan Marie here on YouTube. She was creating anti-MLM content at one point, but she has since launched her own business called Meg Pie or Megan's Pieces. I am wearing a scrunchie from her store along with a shirt. I don't know if you could see it, but I did also buy a few more shirts, so I will be posting pictures of that like on Instagram and stuff, but I'll post a picture of it somewhere up on the screen so you can also see it. If you'd like to follow her business Instagram, it is, let me just make sure, Megan's Pieces. I will leave it linked below. And yeah, so I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Megan. If I seem a little annoyed or frustrated in this video, it is because I recorded this entire video, which took me a very long time because I do have my daughter with me. Yeah, so I recorded pretty much the whole thing. And then I realized that I had the TV on in the background. That is because I need something as kind of like a white noise when I'm home with my daughter, because then it just gets to be too quiet and it just freaks me out a little bit. So I have to have some kind of background noise. And yeah, since I've gotten so used to having that background noise, the TV was on the entire time while I was recording. Back in 2019, a subscriber had messaged me about a new MLM at the time that was selling this magnetic eyeliner. And it was an easier alternative for people to wear false eyelashes. Honestly, MLM or not, I do think that this is a really great concept. Since then, they have done more than just this magnetic liner and the lashes that attach to it. They do have more makeup and skincare as well. After speaking to Laura Hunter, which is the CEO, they have other products that they're also in the process of coming up with and formulating and stuff like that, which Laura does formulate her own products. And I find that really cool. I was intrigued at the time back in 2019 because I didn't see anybody talking about Tori Belle, which is why I decided to take a look at it. And since then, I have made quite a few videos about it. Most of them are reaction videos or testimonials. One of those reaction videos made it seem like Tori Belle was a pyramid scheme, or is a pyramid scheme. However, I have been told that since that video has gone up, the very high-ranking rep in that video was terminated. So that's something that these reps don't realize, is that with these MLM companies, or maybe they just don't understand it, but these MLM companies, it's not a for sure thing. Because first of all, the company can shut down at any time. But second of all, you can also be terminated or suspended from these companies, which is actually something that I did go over with Laura in our phone call. Laura did tell me that there were a few things that I got wrong in my original video. So I have since taken that video down because I never want misinformation on my channel. And I do think that it's awesome that Laura, instead of just sending me a cease and desist letter, like how Landmark Forum did about over a year ago now, I think it is. I think it was like February or March that I talked about that. I'll try to remember to link that video below because it was just the things that they said in there. It was funny. It was comical for me to, yeah, it was just comical. But anyway, that is nothing to do with this video. But like I said, Laura could have easily sent me a cease and desist letter, but she didn't. And even though I'm anti-MLM, and obviously Laura stands for the pro-MLM side, which is not something that I agree with, I do have more respect for her because of the way that she approached me, because of the way that we were able to have an adult discussion. That's not something that happens very often. And it's kind of like the saying goes that you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. This could also have been a manipulation tactic or kind of like reverse psychology, whatever you want to call it. But I am going to give Laura the benefit of the doubt just because I'm just going to give her the benefit of the doubt. But anyway, let's get into a little bit about the company, the conversation that I had with Laura, etc., etc. Laura Hunter invented the magnetic liner back in February of 2018, and as I've already said, has 3 patents pending. Hey guys, Editing Monica here. I did see that there was a previous patent for magnetic lashes that was started back in 1967, and it was approved in 1970. However, it expired in 1989. While I was reading the patent documents, it seems like this previous patent obtained by Chemway Corp had an adhesive that you would put on your lid that would be the magnetic strip for the eyelashes. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Meaning the Tori Bell magnetic liner is different from an adhesive. However, it's a similar concept in my opinion. I know a lot of people who are using magnetic eyeliner. Some actually do use Tori Bell. I do have a friend that is a rep for Tori Bell. Other people are using different companies that have this product as well. I actually used to wear false eyelashes back in the day, I used to wear them pretty much every single day. And I ended up not liking it eventually because first of all, the glue was annoying. Second of all, I always, for whatever reason, it's probably because I just didn't apply it correctly, but for whatever reason, I always would get poked in the corner of my eye. And along with that, eventually I noticed that my eyelashes, my natural lashes, were in pretty bad shape. So I decided that I was no longer going to use that. I rarely ever even use mascara because my lashes are pretty much non-existent at this point. So I just try to kind of give them a break whenever I can. But in my opinion, the idea of a magnetic eyeliner is a pretty interesting idea, especially for someone in my situation, I guess you could say. But Laura founded Lashliner in 2018, which was the regular company side that has an actual affiliate program as opposed to the MLM side. In June of 2019, just 4 months before I made my first ever video about Tori Bell, is when Tori Bell Cosmetics would be launched. Both Lashliner and Tori Bell would hit $15 million in revenue within their first fiscal year and $60 million in 2020. I wonder if that huge spike in 2020 had to do with the pandemic. We know of a lot of companies, not just multi-level marketing companies, but companies in general that use the pandemic to their advantage. We saw a lot of MLM reps from other companies presenting their opportunities as a way to help those who lost their jobs, or even just using fear mongering as a way to sell their products. There were warning letters that were sent out in April and June of 2020 from the FTC regarding health and income claims for these MLM companies. Tori Bell was not on any of those lists or anything like that, but it is a point that I wanted to make in this video. On the Tori Bell website, under their story, there's a portion that says Tori Bell is sold exclusively through tens of thousands of independent affiliates and influencers across many channels, including social media, online advertising, and brick and mortar venues. Laura's mission is to build a culture where Tori Bell affiliates receive all of the education, tools, and support they need to succeed and to feel part of a welcoming and supportive family. Within the anti-MLM movement, we've all seen what happens a lot of the time, at least from testimonials, when one leaves an MLM company. Uplines will love bomb you and treat you like family up until you decide to leave, and it's almost like you're shunned in a way. This did happen to me, and I was no longer part of the sisterhood that they always talk about. This isn't everyone's experience, but it was mine, and I did just want to add that in here. Before we talk a little more in detail about Tori Bell, I wanted to go over the Zoom call that I had with Laura, because the information kind of ties into the timeline of talking about Tori Bell, and kind of it just flows easily. So that's why I wanted to add it here. Unfortunately, I do not have a recording of my conversation with Laura, so I will only go over what we spoke about. First and foremost, I did just want to say a huge thank you to Laura for taking the time to speak with me, and I respect her so much for just wanting to talk, and instead of just immediately sending a cease and desist and doing all of that, getting lawyers involved and whatnot. So a little bit about Laura. She was a photographer for 25 years and has a master's in photography. She's also a makeup artist and has been involved in the pageant world for quite some time. With that said, she has appeared in TV shows, commercials, and print ads for companies such as TLC, the Food Network, and Amazon Prime, and in national ad campaigns including Bissell, Microsoft, Avery Labels, Toyota, Disney, and others. She won Miss World in 2016. You can have your own opinions about the pageant world, but I had a friend in high school and she was in pageants since she was very, very young. From what she told me, it was always very intense and very cutthroat. The website talked about how Laura has volunteered at local charities and supports the American Lung Association in honor of her mother, Linda Allen, who passed away due to lung disease. I cannot imagine losing my mother to begin with, or losing my mother to such a horrible disease. So I did just want to say my condolences do go out to Laura and the family. Laura told me that she does have experience with direct sales, and she was selling vacuums door to door when she was 16 years old. Sorry, that was my daughter. I don't know if the camera picked that up or the microphone picked that up. But I forgot to ask her which company it was for, but I do know that Rainbow and Kirby are two vacuum companies that are set up in this kind of a direct selling model. Now, this next thing, it could be because I have consumed a little too much true crime content in my day, but I would be terrified to sell anything door to door because you don't know who's behind that door. You don't know the customer, and you're going into their home. If they actually allow you to come in the home to kind of give them this presentation and whatnot. But I would be very scared to do that because you never know who's in that house. You don't know. In addition to that, I will not open the door for a stranger or anything like that if I'm not expecting you. If I have, let's say my husband calls me and says, hey, so-and-so is coming to spray the yard or something like that. Okay, I'm expecting them. But usually they don't even ring the doorbell. They just do their own thing in the yard because we actually know them. So they just kind of do their thing and then they're on their way. If you follow me on Twitter, I did actually tweet about this several months ago because it happened to me again. I was at home with my daughter and the doorbell rang and I saw some weird dude at the door, and I'm sorry, but I'm not opening the door for you. Even if the person sees me walking around through the window, because that has happened to me in the past, and I just say through the window, I'm not opening the door for you. Sorry, you need to get off my property. And I'm not nasty about it. I'm usually pretty nice about it, but that's just, no, I'm not going to open the door for you, especially now that I have my daughter. I'm just keeping us safe along with the dogs. I know that the dogs would probably get involved if something were to happen, but I never want to put any of us in a dangerous situation like that. Now that I went off on a tangent, if you've been here for a bit, you know that I love to go off on tangents. But anyway, after Laura was selling these vacuums door to door, she went on to get her master's in photography, just like I said earlier. And she told me that at one point she was with a friend and they saw the big basket building for the first time. Yes, this is the same big basket building that was featured in Mac Attack's video when Mac did a deep dive into the MLM company called Longaberger. And don't hate me for saying this, but I actually think the basket building is really interesting. I don't know why, but I love things like that. I know that it's probably cringy to some people, but I don't know. I find it interesting. And that MLM is one that I do want to kind of research a little bit further, because I think that back in the 90s, my mom's friend, and I was actually friends with the kids as well, but I'm pretty sure that I went to a few of these in-home parties for these baskets, because I just remember seeing baskets everywhere. So I'm pretty sure that I may have had a run-in with this MLM company. However, Laura said that her friend brought her to see this building, and she described the campus to be set up kind of like Disney. After learning about the multi-level marketing model when she went there and visited this campus, this building, she told herself that if she were to ever have a company, she wanted to have it set up like an MLM model, because she wants to spread the wealth. Within the anti-MLM movement, we know that the MLM model is not set up for everyone to win, so to speak. Some MLMs are worse than others, such as, a good example is LuLaRoe. At one point, their buy-in for the first buy-in amount was $5,000 for the starter kit. And Laura saw examples of other MLM companies. She didn't say which ones or anything like that, but she said that she didn't want to be like those MLM companies. I'm not putting words into Laura's mouth or anything like that, but when I think of really bad MLMs, I think of companies such as Amway, Herbalife, Beachbody, Monet, LuLaRoe, and I could keep going. But then I would just be sitting here making a video and how I rank them from worst to not as bad as the worst ones, but still bad. But because of this, Laura decided that she didn't want to be like those other companies, so she was only going to charge $9 a month with no starter kits required. While I will recognize that some MLM companies are better than others, and I'm putting better in air quotes, the structure still isn't a good one and are all problematic, in my opinion, of course. All MLM companies work off of the same model. Some just have a lower loss than others. There's no inventory required at Tori Belle, which is good because this can prevent inventory loading, which is a topic I went over in an entire video. And if you'd like to watch it, I'll try to remember to link it below. But to give a very quick explanation, according to lawinsider.com, the definition states, inventory loading occurs when a company's incentive program forces recruits to buy more products than they could ever sell, often at inflated prices. Inventory loading has historically been accomplished by giving sellers financial incentives for sales without regard to ultimate sales to or used by actual consumers. There is one video that features a perfect example of this with Mary Kay.
The warehousing of the product, meaning they had basements full of it, or closets full of it, or garages full of it.
That shocks me to hear that. How do you know the product isn't ending up in people's basements? Oh, trust me, Rebecca, we know that women love to buy Mary Kay products over and over again.
The company says tens of millions of dollars of consulted orders are shipped directly to consumers every year. Even so, take a look at this. Inventory from a consultant who is leaving the company. She agreed to show us boxes of products she said she bought to keep her status.
I did ask Laura about reps purchasing too much inventory, because we've all heard MLM reps say that you need to be a product of the product, which in turn means most of the time that you have to buy a lot of the things, a lot of the new things that are coming out as well. That's when Laura told me that if a rep purchases $500 worth of Tori Belle products or more, Tori Belle will get a notification about that and they'll contact the rep, because this is not allowed. However, if someone wants to sell Tori Belle as a wholesaler, let's say in a hair salon or something like that, there is a different setup for wholesalers. In order to sell Tori Belle products wholesale, you need to have a business license, and you need to provide that to the company upon doing this and every single year after that, in order to prove that you do still have this business license. I asked Laura, how does Tori Belle kind of, in a sense, keep tabs on some of these reps? And what I mean by this is, how do they check to see if an MLM rep isn't making any kind of income claims, or things of that nature. Laura said that they have special software for this, and the software will pick up on words such as easy or really anything that can make the post seem like it would possibly be going against FTC guidelines along with just Tori Bell policies in general. That's when I asked Laura if they can track if a rep is or isn't doing well or is losing a lot of money, etc., etc. She said because of their data and because of kind of how they're able to collect all of this, because her husband has a background in tech, so he's the one that kind of is able to collect all of this information for them. But because of that, if they see that a rep is not doing well, Tori Bell will actually reach out to the rep. They will speak to the rep and see what kind of issues are they having. Maybe they need more training or maybe there's something going on. So they'll kind of talk to the rep and just see, what can we do to help? In previous videos of mine, I have talked about higher ranking reps that were let go, and even one of those reps in a reaction video that I talked about earlier was terminated. The one that I talked about that kind of made it seem like Tori Bell was a pyramid scheme.
For a total of 10,200 in team volume, you guys. This is just if you recruit one a week. This is just if this person recruits one a week. This is what happens. Now imagine you recruit 3 a week or 5 a week. You guys, this right here is why follow-up is so critical. This right here is why bringing people in and showing them how you did it is critical. It's all in the duplication, okay? This is why people like little old me and little old everybody, the people that use the system, far outrun the person who can sell their face off and doesn't recruit a single person. Okay? This is why when you find a training valuable, you make sure you tag this person, this person, this person, and this person. And while you're at it, go ahead and tag those people too. Because the more you duplicate, the more your volume is just going to organically explode without you having to sell your face off every single day.
So Tori Bell has let people go in the past, but Laura did tell me that there were good reasons for it. She stated that people will get warnings first, and if the company sees or if Laura sees like dishonesty or bonus buying or something like that, and if the rep has already been spoken to before and gotten a warning, then they'll be let go. There was one rep that I did talk about this in a previous video about her testimonial and getting terminated. I did reach out to her, but at the time of filming this, which it's already been, I want to say it's probably already been like a week or two, I still haven't heard back from her. So if I do hear back from her, I'll leave it in the comments. I'll put it in like a pinned comment. But at this point in time, I don't have her statement or kind of like an update as to what happened, because after the last time I talked to her, I don't know what else happened after that. Editing Monica here. I did hear back from the rep while I was editing this video. There are a lot of things I legally just can't say due to not having evidence or because it's considered hearsay at this point. If you're following the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, there was a great montage of clips of Johnny Depp constantly being told that something is hearsay. It's honestly quite comical and I highly recommend that you watch it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I also don't really want to get sued. What I can say is there are a few active lawsuits against some really high-ranking reps that were terminated from the company. One of those reps I've actually reacted to in the past. Some of these reps ended up MLM hopping, which is really quite common in this industry. The rep who I did speak with is currently still very pro MLM, which just proves my point even more that we can have adult discussions. She's a victim of this industry just like everyone else, even if she is a higher ranking rep and kind of an MLM veteran, at least in my opinion. And if the ex-rep is watching this, I don't mean that in an offensive way whatsoever. What I would like to do is follow these lawsuits and report on them when everything is all said and done. Of course, these are all public record at this point in time, but with that said, I'm sorry that I really can't give out more information. There's just a lot that I could get myself in trouble for if I repeat any of it, so I'm just going to let it all play out in court, see what happens, and then report on it then. But I will say, and this is not me accusing Laura of lying or anything like that, but from what was told to me by other reps or ex-reps who reached out to me, they allegedly had a different experience or opinion about their termination. There are always two sides to every story, and there's a truth that lies in the middle. Could they be a disgruntled employee? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, there could be some truth to their story. And I wasn't there for the entire process of their termination, so I can't speak on either side's behalf. I can only speculate at this point with the information that has been given to me. But Laura didn't give me specifics, so I don't know what Tori Bell's side was with the reps that have reached out to me. I only know Tori Bell's policies and stuff like that. As I said in the beginning of this video, Laura started out with Lash Liner, which offered affiliate marketing, but not multi-level marketing. And Tori Bell, the multi-level marketing company, came later. These two companies are merging into one company, and this is because Laura has 3 patents pending on her product, and a lot of people don't know that the companies are both owned by Laura, so it's causing some kind of confusion because both of the companies are saying that Laura is the inventor of this magnetic eyeliner. So like I said, they're becoming one, and they are going to be a multi-level marketing structure. I did ask Laura if she has seen, read, or listened to any of the opposing side, which would be the anti-MLM movement. I'm always curious, and because Laura didn't immediately attack me, I figured she was a level-headed and possibly open-minded woman. She didn't give me specifics, and this might be for legal purposes, but she has seen Lula Rich, and judging by Laura's body language, it seemed like she had quite a few opinions, but didn't want to say anything. And like I said, this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong, but if that's the case, I can understand why she didn't want to say anything, because maybe in her eyes, she just didn't want to pretty much badmouth another company, let alone name drop the actual company. But I was given access to the back office, and Laura said this was because she has nothing to hide. I looked around and everything looks pretty standard for a multi-level marketing company. There was one point in our conversation where Laura said the typical thing we hear from MLM reps themselves, and that is that a 9-to-5 is shaped kind of like a pyramid with people at the top and it trickles down. What I wanted to mention to my audience is a pyramid scheme isn't dependent on the shape. I myself make sarcastic jokes and even have merch that says triangle-like structure, but that doesn't mean that I'm referring to the shape. A pyramid scheme is classified as a business model that focuses either solely on recruiting or mostly on recruiting. That's why a lot of MLM companies are walking that fine line of what is considered a legal multi-level marketing company and a pyramid scheme according to the FTC. I always link an article on the FTC's website that differentiates the difference between the two, but I do also want to add that while I enjoyed my 9-to-5s and it was great to have stability, it was great to have the benefits, the paid time off, etc., I do recognize that it's also not a perfect industry and that there are unethical things that happen within the regular corporate industry and the 9-to-5s and all of that kind of stuff. One thing that I found very interesting about Laura is that she does formulate a lot of their products. So while we were on the call, she did show me a piece of paper that she was working on a formula for a new product, and that was prior to our call. And I find it interesting that Laura is so involved with her company. During our conversation, I did talk about how a lot of MLM companies state that they are all about women empowerment, but very rarely do we see women either as a CEO running the company or in higher positions, which is that's why Tori Bell is a little bit different as well, because there is a woman that is the CEO, and they do have a lot of other women that are in higher positions at the company as well. I was surprised at how the conversation went because I was a little worried due to comments that I have received from MLM reps by either Tori Bell MLM reps or other MLM reps just in general. But I was preparing myself for the conversation to kind of go in that direction of I guess you could say you're a hater, you're jealous, but we've all heard these kind of reasons that these MLM reps have, and we're always just, it just trickles down to we're considered haters, and that's just what we are to them. So I was very happy to see that that's not the direction that the conversation went in with Laura. But with all that said, my stance is still very firmly anti-MLM. If you don't know Amanda MC, Amanda does create anti-MLM content here on YouTube, along with on TikTok and Instagram. But after she saw my Insta story that showed a picture of me and Scarlett, actually, was, you can see the little peach fuzz of Scarlett's head on in the picture of me being on a Zoom call with a CEO of an MLM company. She did ask me, well, after having that conversation, are you still anti-MLM? How did it go? That kind of a thing. And I'm going to say I'm still very firmly anti-MLM. What I will say, though, is that I really, truly enjoyed speaking with Laura. I think it was a great conversation. I don't know what other people's experiences have been with speaking with Laura, but I had a good experience speaking with her. And it could be that she is practicing good PR. That's a possibility. And it's just she's trying to get the word out about Tori Bell and it not being like the other MLMs and all of that kind of stuff that we usually hear from MLM reps or other MLM companies as well. But Laura did approach me as an adult. She didn't send me a cease and desist. She just asked, hey, can we have a conversation? And I think that that's great. I really, really think that that's great. So I did just want to say thank you to Laura for taking the time to talk to me and not getting angry and not calling me all these names and things like that. But anyway, let's go back to talking about a few things about Tori Bell before we wrap up this video. Something that I wanted to add into this video was about these Tori Bell fees that I did make a video about back in 2020, I believe. And because I was able to speak with Laura about this, I am going to provide her comment on these fees. So in that video, I talked about how Tori Bell had kind of like a card, kind of how Unique has their purple debit card thing or whatever it is. With Tori Bell's card, you get your commissions put onto this card instead of a direct deposit, for example. The rep that told me about this at the time showed me a bunch of different fees that they were charged that were associated with using this card and withdrawing the money, that kind of a thing. The person said, so I have some more information about Tori Bell that might be of interest. When I joined and got my commissions, that is when I found out that the commissions go on a Tori Bell card. I'm assuming this is probably going to be kind of like how the Unique reps, they always take pictures of their Unique card and everything like that. So I'm assuming it's kind of the same concept, if you will. But anyway, so found out the commissions go on a Tori Bell card, which maybe other MLMs do that. And I don't know why they can't just make direct deposits into my account. Well, anyways, as I was looking into transferring the money to my bank account, I scrolled down to the bottom and saw a fees tab and decided to click on it. Guess what? There are so many fees. Fees for holding the money, withdrawing the money, closing the account, ATM withdrawals, cashback fees. The list goes on and on. So I wanted to share this with you because I am not sure others know to be aware of the MLM fees, especially with Tori Bell. Another reason this company is not for me. This rep did send me pictures. Of course, there are some things that are blurred out for privacy reasons. Now let's take a look at the screenshots of the account that this rep sent me. So of course on the screen you're going to see 3 transactions from August, 1 from July, and 1 from June. So it shows there's a transfer to a bank fee, then there's the bank transfer to the person's bank account, there's another monthly service fee for active accounts, another one, active accounts, and then payment received from Tori Bell. There's a $15 account closure and or balance refund fee, 50-cent fee for an ATM balance inquiry, $2.50 ATM cash withdrawal fee outside of the US, and then within the US it's $1.95. ATM decline fee is 50 cents. Bank teller cash withdrawal decline fee, wow, sorry, can't talk, 50 cents. There's a bank transfer stop reversal return notification of change fee, which is $5. Debit purchase transaction fee with or without PIN cashback, 59 cents for both of them. Direct debit fee for US residents only, 50 cents. Fee for bank transfer is $4. What? Foreign transaction fee applies if settlement currency is not US dollars, 3% of transaction amount. Monthly service fee for accounts inactive greater than 121 days, that's $5. Monthly service fee for active accounts is $1. So I wanted to ask Laura about clarification with these fees. What were these fees for? Are the reps notified about these fees prior to using this card? Is this the only way to receive commissions through Tori Bell? Or is this a choice that the rep makes with onboarding? Laura responded to me about this and stated that there are 3 different ways that a Tori Bell rep can get their commissions. One of them is this Tori Bell Visa card that this rep told me about, and there is a $1 charge to take funds from this card into their bank account. However, the card is free to use as a regular debit card. Tori Bell also pays via PayPal or a good old-fashioned regular check for free. The reps are able to decide which option they would like to use ahead of time. Recently, someone had brought another fee to Mombi's attention, who is an anti-MLM advocate and content creator as well, who told me about this. And Tori Bell had some kind of a glitch in their system where reps were charged retroactively for the $9 a month fee because according to Tori Bell, they were not charging their reps for previous months. The person that talked about this or spoke about this stated that even though their account had gone inactive and canceled their account, they were still charged. They believe that they should not have been charged. From what I was told, they did contact Tori Bell's support team and they stated that the charges were valid. However, again, this person states that they had canceled their account. So I did ask Laura about this and she stated that with the new payment methods, there was a glitch for a couple of days and they were auto refunded immediately. However, any reps that they couldn't find because they were not really canceled accounts, just past due, those accounts don't show as incorrect, but Tori Bell is refunding once these reps or ex-reps contact support. So again, back in late 2020, there was a rep that had sent me the Tori Bell income disclosure statement. And if you don't know what an income disclosure statement is, it's data collected by the MLM company that shows the income earned by reps at each rank. Income disclosure statements can vary with the information that they provide or the way that the numbers are presented with each MLM. The one thing that is consistent with these income disclosure statements is that they're just reporting income. So this income doesn't include any taxes, fees, PV that the reps have to keep in order to stay active within the company, or any products that they purchase. There are usually disclaimers somewhere on the income disclosure statements that show this information. A lot of pro MLMers or current MLM reps argue that income disclosure statements are skewed because there are reps that sign up for just the discount and aren't selling or building a team. The great part about Tori Bell's income disclosure statement is they actually state that the percentage of reps that make up that discount rep is at 65%. And they even stated that, quote, "For the purposes of this statement, these affiliates are not considered active. Those people have sales of $0 to $200 per month. They do receive a 25% commission on these sales," end quote. In my opinion, I don't think that income disclosure statements should include the reps that are a part of this company just for the discount because it does skew the numbers, or at least let us know how many of those reps are at that rank. So, or not necessarily at that rank, but are just there for the discounts so that we can kind of do the math ourselves. That way there would be more accurate numbers that are being presented. In addition, whenever a rep makes any reference to income by FTC guidelines, they do have to provide a disclaimer for that. Some reps have even provided income disclosure statements, but if we want to take, for example, like an Instagram reel or a TikTok, I have seen this where the rep will include either the disclaimer or the income disclosure statement, and it's literally not even a full second on the screen, and usually it's blurry. So it's kind of counterproductive. Another opinion that I have regarding income disclosure statements is that if we do want to go back to the argument of the amount of discount reps that are included in the data, while that is true, it still shows in order to get higher within the company and in order to rank up, you can't just sell the product. You do have to build a team. But now that I've said all of that and stated my opinions on the matter, let's get into Tori Bell's income disclosure statement and the data that they have available. So the average monthly income of all active affiliates that joined through the end of August 31st, 2020 is $430. The average monthly income for reps who joined August 2019 or earlier after 1 year is $1,601. Tori Bell has her income disclosure statement broken down into 3 groups, and that is affiliates, influencers, and directors. If you're new here, you might not know how I feel about MLMs calling their reps affiliates or influencers, because these are actual forms of marketing and even careers that are not the same as multi-level marketing. With affiliate marketing, a simple explanation is you have things such as an affiliate link that you have a specific code in there. Then you send that link to someone and you make a small commission off of that person if they purchase. Some affiliate programs even give you payouts just for clicks, but most of them only do the commission if the person purchases. Influencer marketing is a little more complex, but at the end of the day, if an influencer posts about something, they may have either gotten that product for free or they were compensated for posting about it. Most of the time there are requirements, such as if you're doing a sponsored ad in a YouTube video, it has to be a specific amount of time, and there are certain topics that you need to cover. Or if it's on Instagram, you might have to post a feed post along with some Insta stories, etc. However, you get compensated for this, and there is a contract between the influencer and the brand ahead of time. Of course, there's also the FTC guideline that you need to disclose if something is an ad, sponsored, or gifted, etc. Anyway, back to the income disclosure statement. So what I find interesting is the averages that are shown. I usually like to see what the median is because that shows a more accurate representation. In this situation, the numbers can be very skewed just by looking at the lowest and highest amounts of each rank. I'm not going to go over the amounts for each rank on the income disclosure statement. You can either pause the screen right here, or if you want, I will leave the income disclosure statement linked below for you to take a look at it. But the statement cannot show us actual numbers, and reps are not allowed to make income claims per the FTC. We don't really know what the reps are truly making. Now that you know what an income disclosure statement is and what the average a month is and everything like that, let's go over more of the percentages that people make from sales and stuff like that. So I'm not going to go over the entire compensation plan in detail because let's be honest, that would be incredibly boring, and you guys can go ahead and read it on your own time. I will leave it linked below, but I wanted to go over some key things that I saw in there. On this first page, they show what the requirements are in order to get certain bonuses and things like that in order to stay active at a specific rank. If you notice, you receive more bonuses as you work your way up in rank, which is based on recruiting and building a team. Once you reach the active affiliate rank, one of the requirements is a team sales quota of 200 points. And I'll let y'all go ahead and take a look at this page more on your own time, but there was a statement at the bottom of this page that I wanted to read. And it says, quote, "We expect the typical participant to earn $0 to $148 per year in commissions and bonuses. This number includes affiliates that sign up to receive a discount on products but do not sell. We expect the average active affiliate to earn $5,160 per year in bonuses and commissions," end quote. With Tori Bell, when it comes to personal sales, as you sell more, you get a higher commission. So as you earn more points, you start at a 25% commission and work your way up to 40% commission. You are also able to earn personal sales bonuses that include a cash bonus and travel credits. There is an entire table that shows the Quick Start advancement bonus, And as per this compensation plan, the career rank maintenance bonus is earned for each month career rank is maintained. If you do not maintain your career rank, you do not receive this bonus. And when it comes to the bonuses on that table, the affiliate column is just referring to the rep selling, whereas the mentor section is referring to if they're building a team. They do have a teen program, which I made an entire video on, a few MLMs that allow teens to work for the MLM. And in that video, I go over more details. So I'll leave that video link below if you'd be interested in watching it and just learning more about my opinion. But long story short, I'm not sure of the legalities behind it, especially in each state when it comes to child labor laws. I know that the teen gets signed up under their parent or guardian, and the parent or guardian is responsible for them. But who's to say if the parent is going to monitor the time spent on the MLM, especially if the parent themselves is an MLM rep? However, one can also argue that child stars and family vlogging channels do either the same thing or even worse, and I agree 100%, but that's a discussion for a completely different video. Now that we're at the end of the video, I'm starting to lose my voice actually, so it's probably the best time. This is good timing on my part because like I said, I already recorded this before, so I've been talking for quite a bit of time. But at the end of the day, I'm still very firmly anti-MLM. Even if I was able to talk to Laura and have a casual chat with her. But I think that this just goes to show that we can have these discussions and we can speak like adults. We don't need to have these ad hominem attacks. It's completely unnecessary and uncalled for, and it just invalidates the argument that someone is trying to make. As soon as you start attacking someone for what they look like, what they sound like, because it's happened to me. I've had people tell me how much they don't like certain things, or they don't like what I look like, or when it comes to even some reps, they'll say that, oh, you're just uneducated, or you don't know what you're talking about. You're just a hater. You need this product because of X, Y, and Z. And then they'll attack my appearance or my weight or something like that. So that's just something that is completely unnecessary and uncalled for from these MLM reps, because we can have conversations. And I think that, you know, this was a great example that we can have these conversations. I know that I've said that so many times, but it's just shocking to me that a CEO of an MLM company, not even just an MLM rep, don't get me wrong, I would love to have an MLM rep approach me the same way, but to have a CEO of an MLM company contact me and say, hey, I watched your video. There were a few things that you got wrong. I'd love to chat, and I don't want to send you a cease and desist. I want to be able to chat about this. I want to be able to answer any questions that you have and just approach things like adults. So I, again, want to say a huge thank you to Laura for talking to me. And I think that it was a great conversation. But I will probably be anti-MLM forever and ever and ever. But I did want to make this video, and I'm sorry that it took me so long to make this, because I know that I posted this in my community tab a long time ago, but it has been very difficult to film. And also it's been really nice out lately, so I've been taking my daughter outside a lot more. She loves it, so that's been kind of priority. And yeah, so I did just want to say that I'm sorry it took so long. And yeah, so with all of that said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I will see you guys next time, and this is Monica reporting to you live from the highway. Bye!